Hello, and welcome to That Eurovision Podcast, Eurovision with a Slice of Life. My name is Rosie. You've got me in the hosting chair once again for today's episode, and I'm doing incredibly well. It is incredibly sunny, it's incredibly beautiful outside, and I am in the process of packing to go to Turin next weekend. So I cannot contain just how excited I am as this season is approaching its climax. And joining me today are...
Hi, it's Rory, and I am. It's so weird not being the one that's actually hosting it again, so it's very odd. It's been a while since I've been on the podcast, so I hope everyone is doing very, very well. I'm so stoked for Eurovision and everything like that. Can't believe it's so close, and we've got a lot of surprises in store apparently. So I am hyped, and I am ready to be shocked, appalled, and justified in everything like that.
Hello, everyone. It's been a moment since I've been on the podcast. I think the last time was when we talked about the Netherlands, which was 4 months ago. Oh my goodness. I am also very, very excited for Eurovision coming up. I did book a week off work, but unfortunately I will not be in Turin. Otherwise, my UK visa gets revoked. That's a whole other story. I'm fine. I'm not going to get deported. But I'm very excited. I've got the Eurovision album. I've been playing my Eurovision playlist at work because I'm allowed to get everyone in the spirit. And yeah, I'm so excited for today's episode.
Tim here. Oh God, I haven't been here for a very long time. So it's like with Rory, I'm like, it feels very odd. But yeah, I'm doing good. In parallel with Rosie, I'm currently packing for Turin with my many suitcases. But I'm very, very excited. And this is the pre-warm up to it, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So I'm gonna let Rosie take it away. You're good to go.
You're good to go.
Thank you very much, Tim Osterdahl. So last time we had an episode of this podcast, we introduced the TES National Final Awards for 2022. It's been a few weeks since then. Voting is now closed, and today we are going to be revealing the winners. We had 125 votes, which is amazing. Thank you so much to everyone who voted. And just to give a little bit of a brief overview about what we've done here. Everybody has been able to vote for their favourite non-winning song for every single one of the national finals we had for this Eurovision season. And we had a lot of them. We also have a couple of categories specifically at the end for songs that did win their national final. But we've generally decided to leave them out for the reason that we will also be doing the Eurovision Awards later in the year, and we're going to get a lot of more chance to celebrate the songs that actually have made it to the Eurovision stage. Songs that were withdrawn or disqualified have not been included, but otherwise every song in every national final has been eligible for voting. So that includes songs that didn't necessarily make it to the stage because the artists got COVID, or songs that got eliminated in the ESDLL quarterfinals. Any song has been eligible for an award this season. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of the national finals, give you the first, second and third places for each of them and our reactions to those, and then we'll announce our special awards at the end as well. So let's get started, and we're going to go in alphabetical order because it makes sense to. And so that means we're starting with Albania. Albania's Festivali Këngës was won by Ronella with Secret, but who else did you like from this national final? So our third place got 7.1% of the vote, and it was Esther Zahiri with Hyena. In second place was Rizata Smaya with Ayem Yanusa, and in first place with 51% of the vote is Theye by Alban Ramosai. What do you think of these results for Albania?
Well, I guess I can be at least happy that my other favorite in the final did actually manage to get some sort of recognition, because Rizata Smaya deserved a lot better than just third place, but that's just me. Yeah, I'm not really surprised by this. Thea was basically the other massive favorite in Festivali Këngës, so it was gonna have to be them basically. But yeah, hopefully he manages to come back and deliver another fantastic performance where his voice doesn't crack. So maybe.
For me, not surprised. Out of all of the contestants on there, I think they deserved it. Like, you know, might not get to Eurovision. You won the award on our website. That's the second best thing, right?
Also very much not surprised by this, and as a big fan of the I'm very, very happy to see it as well. The other thing that I'm really happy about with this one is seeing Esther Zahiri get third place on this one. And she was one of the sort of kind of the newcomers section for Festivali Kangas. So it's really nice to see someone who is really up and coming get that recognition. And again, I really hope she comes back and does really well in the future. So Helen, do you have any thoughts on this one?
I unfortunately did not watch the Albanian national final, so I'm afraid I don't.
Fantastic. In which case, let's move on to our second national final, which is Australia. We had Australia Decides returning once again to pick their choice for Turin. And we have Sheldon Riley with Not the Same, who won the national final. But who's going to get the next best thing and get the recognition in the TES Awards? In third place, with 18.7% of the vote, is Charlie with I Suck at Being Lonely. In second place, with 29.9% of the vote, is Dreamer by Voyager. And this means that our winner, with 31.8%, is Little Fires by Jaguar Jones.
Okay, look, every time, like, this is the second time now that she got robbed of a Eurovision opportunity, but you know what? She's improved from 2020 up until now, and Eurovision fans still love her, so I hope that this doesn't deter her and she's able to come back again next year, because who knows? Third time's a charm, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Jaguar literally said that like the reason why she came back was because of the fans of Eurovision. And honestly, I mean, the fact that we can sort of inspire artists to constantly coming back purely for the sake of it. I mean, Kano did the same thing as well. So, you know, it's really nice. Really quite shocked to see Charlie so low, because I personally really vibe with that song. I think it's a beautiful track and she sings it so well. But I'm also not entirely surprised at all, because like these were like the strongest songs in the national selection anyways, because we had Voyager. Obviously everyone thought they were going to win, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. But yeah, fingers crossed that they all sort of come back, because it was a very, very great and diverse national selection.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm a little bit surprised that Voyager didn't come out on top here, just because I feel like there was so much momentum, especially in the live shows, of everybody really, really pulling for them. And they did win the televote. But Australia Decides was such a good national final overall that it was a little bit hard to watch in the UK. Let's fix that next year. Overall, honestly, I think I would have been kind of pleased with any of our songs being in this top three, because it was just so good. And I really hope Australia Decides keeps on. And I think we will get a winner of Eurovision out of them within the next decade. Otherwise, we'll take it a real left turn. But let's keep it going.
It's really nice to see these three come out on top, because these three and Sheldon were by far my absolute favourites from Australia Decides. And on the one hand, I kind of didn't really mind what order they came in, but on the other hand, it is really nice to see Jaguar Jones come out on top with such an incredible song and such an incredible bit of staging as well, something that is so visually striking and absolutely works with the song as well. Something I do want to sort of point out as well, if you're a fan of Little Fires, Jaguar Jones has released a single with Kate Miller-Heidke from Zero Gravity Australia 2019 fame called You Can't Hurt Me Anymore. Sort of similar topic, similar sort of idea behind the song, and it's incredible. It's a really fantastic little bit of songwriting, and I would really highly recommend that you go and check it out if you're a fan of Little Fires. Swiftly moving on, we shall go to Croatia, where we had Dora and Mia Dimsic winning with Guilty Pleasure. So, who came out top in our vote? In third place, we have Bernarda with Here for Love. This achieved 9.3% of the vote. In second place, we have Marco Bosniak with Molly Zanas. He got 23.3% of the vote. And with 32.6% of the vote, we have Forgive Me, Oprosti by Mia Negovitic. What do you think of these results?
Okay, so this was one of the ones that I live tweeted, and I have to say it was one of the better, well, not that implies things are worse, but it was one of the best national finals. I had a great time watching it. Not surprised to see Mia and Marco be the top two here. They were also the top two in the national final. I really enjoyed Mia's performance. I think she had the misfortune of going second out, but she's someone who's done really well at Dora in the past, and I think her time is coming. I think I would love to see her on the Eurovision stage. Marco, I'm not surprised to see here either. He's got a big following. He's been on a couple of the competition shows in Croatia again. Would love to see him back. I think he had a bit of a confidence issue this time around, but I would love to see him come back experienced with a great song and a great performance, but I think he should be really proud.
I didn't watch Dora, so I will. Did anyone else watch Dora?
All I'm going to say is I am very happy that Mia won, and all I'm going to say is yay, because Laurel Barker co-wrote this song.
I on Laurel Barker, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm very happy to see that Mia won. I would have loved it, obviously, if she had won last year, because last year's song was absolutely fantastic. But alas, TikTok was also a fantastic song. So yeah, I also didn't really watch Dora too much, but I did know a few of the songs. So I was kind of happy that Mia won, and kind of surprised that Bernarda was kind of only third, really, I guess, because comparing it to Colors last year, I mean, that was such a thing. And so, maybe she might come back again and actually come for the win, but you never know.
Fantastic. So we shall move on to ESCZ, the first national final we had this year where we got a winner because ESD Lowell went on for forever. So we got We Are Domi with Lights Off, who won this national final. Who came first in our votes? In third place, we have the absolutely iconic Ellis Moraz with I'm a Bee. She got 10.8% of the vote. In second place, with 23.5%, is Annabelle with Running Out of Foot in Time. And with 45.1% of the vote is Yazinki by Judy. What do you think of these results?
I'm kind of surprised, really. I guess, I mean, I'm not surprised in the sense because Yazinki was very clearly the fan favorite in ESCZ. But sort of seeing Annabelle so high was also kind of a bit of a shock, because that was a personal favorite of mine. And not to toot my own horn, but I tend to usually have I don't have as much of my ear to the ground when it comes to sort of fan favorites and stuff. So that was kind of an interesting one. Also kind of a little bit shocked that By Now by Jordan and Emma was a little bit sort of snubbed, because that was very much the Marmite song of ESCZ, and everyone thought, is it a fantastic masterpiece or is it not? So very clearly, I guess it just kind of goes to show that it wasn't. But yeah, no, I'm fairly content with those results, to be fair.
I think one of the things that's really nice about the voting for ESCZ is that every single song got votes. The lowest ranked song in the voting for this got 5 votes. And we had 102 responses for people who'd watched ESCZ. So it's really nice to see that every single song got some recognition in this. And I think it goes to show just how great a national final ESCZ has been this year, because there really has been something for everyone in terms of what's been put forward. And it's been such a diverse range of songs, diverse range of music. With that said, as a person who is a huge fan of Yazinki, I am very, very happy to see this come into first place. And I'm just listening to this song all the time. It's not aged for me. It's not grown off me in any way. Both the acoustic version and the symphonic version, both absolute art. I am completely in love with the song, and I want to hear Judy come back again at some point because it's fantastic.
I am so pleased to see Annabelle so high up. I had the lovely pleasure of talking with her when we interviewed everybody last fall. I'm a softie for any sort of punk rock vibes. I was listening to Avril Lavigne's Love Sucks this afternoon for the 100th time. But she is so lovely, and The song is just, it brings me right back to like Paramore, man. And I do feel like it got a little bit left behind in the national final. I think it finished in the lower half of the scoreboard, which was unfortunate because I really do. I want her to come back and try again. I think she has such a great personality behind her. I've gone and listened to her other music. So I'm so glad to see that the fans have still been loving her all these months later.
I think for me, that's a very strong top three. And the fact that it varies as well. So you got pop and you got something very different with Yazinki. And, still pissed off that Ellis is like the third bit, but I'm not gonna complain. And hopefully she comes back for the win. Because, what an adventure Amabi has had this season. You have no freaking idea. But anywho, like you've said before, you don't need a big selection. You just need to focus on quality. And it just shows on this one.
Let's now move to Northern Europe and let's go to Denmark. DMGP this year was won by Reddy, who had the show. But what were your favourite songs in the show that were not the show? In third place is Der var Eingang and En Skønne Dag. This got 11.3% of the vote. In second place with 22.7% is Confessions with Hallelujah. And with 44.3% of the vote is Full Defect with Rave med de hårde drenge. What do you think about these results?
Justice for Full Defect, truly. I was so mad that they did not make the super final. I'll be honest, I enjoyed Dansk Melody Grand Prix, but it wasn't my favorite of the last few years overall. There were some really good songs, and I do genuinely enjoy Reddy and the show. With regard to Confessions, I won't say anything other than I too grew up in the church and sang a lot of choir music, and I know how that goes. Oh man, the Danish language songs deserve so much better. Absolutely none of them made the top three. But that being said, Full Defect, please come back. We love you. We want you back. Have fun on stage again. Thank you.
I really wanted a Danish rave. Like, I was just like, what? This didn't make the super final? Seriously, I wish it did, because imagine us being in Turin and then when the beat drops, everyone's just like going crazy in the arena. So we're stuck with Imagine. So I'm so glad that this got its redemption in some way.
I'm sorry, but I just completely sung that in the tune of Imagine Us from JSC. Imagine us being in the arena in Turin when the beat drops. Do, 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 do. It just fit perfectly.
Oh my God, no.
So off the cuff, I love it. Oh, yeah. To be honest, I didn't really watch DMGP, but I pretty much know, yeah, Full Effects definitely should have been like in there. I did not understand why anyone was getting into Confessions. That was not the style at all. That they like. Denmark is just not that kind of style at all. So doing something completely bold and daring, like Ascending Rave, so far it's worked like well before. We've seen it like in types with like a Granca in 2013. Like it is something that hasn't really been explored in Eurovision. So if we had that would have been absolutely fantastic. But of course we can't change the result. So I'm just really happy that they've managed to get some sort of, recognition afterwards.
Now we go on to Estonia with ESD Lau. This was probably the longest lasting national final, given it started in November and ended in February. And we had 40 songs to vote for from this one. Ultimately, Estonia chose Stefan with Hope to represent them in Turin. So who has now come out in top on our votes? In third place with 9.7% is Anna Selena with Champion. In second place with 10.7% of the vote is Minimal Wind and Elizabeth Tiffany with What to Make of This. And in an incredibly close race, only 2% between the third and the first place. First place goes to Kuivide by Jakob Tuisk. What do you think of these results?
Okay, I agree with Saline, but the others, there were some better songs. in my personal opinion, that got missed out. But then again, I understand there was like 40 songs that was going on, but there is a few I'd change on there. But I live in a democratic society and I accept the result. So I will leave it at that. And also I will say that justice for Merlin Malk, because she didn't get to experience it live. And also to Elisa, because her house burned down. Like, she had like an actual fire after the results. And I'm like, your song turned into reality. So I'm hoping she's okay now.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. What can I say? I, in a real turn of events, actually did not watch Estilal this year. So I am afraid I don't actually have too much of an opinion on it. But I do know that Ariadne should have gotten into the actual selection. And that was cruelly robbed because she was fantastic in 2017 and she was fantastic again in 2022. She should come back and get the redemption arc she deserves.
I did watch Istilao, although I did only watch the final because, let's be honest, I do have a life outside of writing for this site. But that being said, I actually quite enjoyed Minimal Wind. I know that they didn't get to actually perform live in the semis because they caught COVID, but I'm so glad that they were able to show what they were capable of in the final. I'm glad they made the super final. I'm not surprised that they didn't quite take out the crown. I know the song is not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm so glad to see them get recognition here. I don't know, I just enjoyed it, but apparently I'm in the minority. Or maybe not.
Again, with the voting for this particular national final, a lot of songs really did get votes. There's a lot of songs that got sort of even just 1 or 2 votes. Shout out to Lewis, who will be delighted to know that he is the only vote for Elu Rupes. But yeah, a lot of the songs, I can't count on the Google Forms pie chart, but there's at least 25 songs out of 40 that got at least 1 vote, which again just goes to show quite how diverse a selection this was. Really happy to see what to make of this and do so well, both in the final of actual Estilal and also in this vote, because I really did not expect it to make the waves that it has done. And I'm really glad to see that people have really, really liked it. Again, like Helen said, not everybody's cup of tea, but my cup of tea, as much as I don't drink tea. And I also just want to give a shout out to the other 3 people who voted for Tula Minusise, because Dramanda deserved better.
Shout out to Alina as well. She nearly got injured during her semi-final performance.
How much can we fit in the iceberg for Estilal 2022?
I think it needs its own whole thing for itself, to be honest. But...
Exactly.
So we've been to Estonia and we're now going to take a very short trip across the sea and we're going to go to Finland. Finland at UMK chose the Rasmus with Jezebel to represent them. And generally regarded as a pretty strong national final. So from the other songs that took part, who did you like the most? In 3rd place, we have Hurricane by Cyan Kicks with 17.5% of the vote. In 2nd place with 18.4%, we have Olivera with Thank God I'm an Atheist. And in 1st place with 38.6% is Ram Pam Pam by Bess. What are your thoughts?
Ram pam 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 pam. I am so happy when you got up there. I was like, and you know what? I agree with that top 3 with all my heart, just because they're all amazing songs. Especially Bess, the fact that she topped the Spotify charts, or like the streaming charts or whatever, on the lead up to UMK, for her to lose out, that was a bit gut-wrenching. And when her votes came in, she didn't even reach the top of the scoreboard, which broke my heart a bit. I was like, no. But you know what? UMK is a very strong show. And I just want to commend Ile for producing it quite well. And, you know, they always choose what they think would get them the best results. So I understand them on that case. So, you know, good luck to the Rasmus. And hopefully, Bess, please come back. We really want you at Eurovision.
I gotta say it, much as Oliveira is probably, spoiler alert, my favorite song of the national final season. I'm surprised that she beat out Cyan Kicks. I feel like a lot of people were really, really going for them. I really enjoyed UMK up until the results came in. I thought it was such a strong national final. There wasn't anybody that I really thought did a bad job, and it was such a good variety as well. I don't have the list in front of me, but I mean, there's only 3 other names, but you had pop, you had quite a bit of rock, which we love Finland for, but different types of rock. Everything was staged really, really well. And I guess that makes me so happy that Olivera got her notice, because of all the songs, it was probably the more quiet one and the more introspective one. And that really, really touched me. So I'm so glad that she's getting the recognition that she deserves.
Yeah, I have to say, I have to agree with the love for Olivera. Honestly, like I was listening to that song earlier today on a walk, and it's just the perfect one. Just like, oh God, I hate the world and all this. Like it just speaks on such a level, and to have like the lyrical depth in that song is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm really happy that they managed to get some recognition. But again, I'm also completely not surprised that Best won the vote, because the song is such a bop. It is amazing. It's a Finnish masterpiece. The video is amazing. I mean, I think there might have been some maybe acoustic problems at the live show. I mean, obviously because Lauri Ilonen was not sounding fantastic, but that's a story for another day. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that like Isaac Sane didn't really do too well. Obviously, I would love it if he would have also done, just because I'm free on Thursday night. What can I say? So yeah, but overall, like I just loved UMK as a national selection this year. Like Ile really know what they're doing, and hopefully they kind of carry on this whole thing now, and we can go back to Helsinki at some point soon.
I mean, I'm listening to almost every song still from UMK, kind of except the one that won. So I would have been happy with basically anyone doing well in this vote. And again, I'm sorry, Alama Cantamois, you did not get any votes, but every other song got at least 14 votes. So again, an incredibly strong and an incredibly well-loved national final on this one, and with good reason. It's such a diverse and such a well-performed and such an interesting national final, and I love every single one of these songs. With that said, Ram Pam Pam was strongly contending for my favourite song of the season. Part of it simply because it is just not a style of music I tend to vibe with, which is why I was so shocked at how much I loved this song from the minute I'd heard it. Something about it has just absolutely hooked me. And again, I can't stop listening to it, and it feels so powerful and angry, but also kind of empowering in a way. It's very, just the attitude of it is amazing. And yeah, Best did a fantastic job with this one. With that, we go on over to France. We saw the return this year of C'est vous qui décidez, which was won by Alvan and the TES with Fulen. Obviously, France doing incredibly well at Eurovision right now, winning Junior Eurovision fairly recently, and also Barbara Pravi coming in second place last year. So, who did you all enjoy out of C'est vous qui décidez? In third place, we have our first tie, and both of these songs got 9.3% of the vote, and that is Elia with Téléphone and Jaune with Madame. In second place, we have Pauline Chagne with Louis Pauline, and in first place, with 43% of the vote, is Seul by Soa. What do you think about these results?
I'm going to have to start this off with the iconic thing that came from the national selection. Ilse, nope, I'm not agree at all. Yeah, I never really got the hype behind Seul. So now that this is one, I'm very much like, ugh, La Nuit Pauline was way more interesting. The electronic harp elements of the style of the song, her styling, her stage presence as well. It was something completely amazing. And she she deserved like the second place I think she got in the end in Savuki Decide. But yeah, and I guess the other song that I think really should have done maybe a little bit better was maybe Les Chansons d'Amour by Marius, but that's only just because I'm a massive fan of Ijit, and obviously Ijit was part of the team that wrote Voila, and then obviously Lisboa, Jerusalem as well, also fantastic. But yeah, Seul non merci.
I'm afraid I wasn't able to watch, so I don't have an opinion on this.
Same thing with Savuki Yesterday this year as I did with it last year, which is that I first heard the songs and I was like, they're all right. I quite enjoy these. And then I kind of forgot about them. And then I see the live show and suddenly so many of them just come alive to me. Suddenly I fall in love with almost all of them. And I am very, very happy to see that, bearing in mind that Fulen was my winner, and I am still massively in love with the song, and it's currently second place in my ranking for this year for Eurovision overall. I am very happy to see my second and third places in the winners, which are Madame and Nuit Pauline. I do also really enjoy Seul, and I really enjoy Telephone, and I really enjoy a lot of the other songs. So very much not upset by these results. And yeah, it's just nice to see my favourites get recognised. And I was just so surprised that Fulen actually won the national final in the first place, because so many people were on the SOA hype train, and I quite liked it, but I was always on the Fulen hype train. And I'm going to blame Isabel for that, because they were the one that really got me into that song.
Yeah, I agree with you with that one. I was on the hype train, and so I'm not surprised that this was the winner. And the fact that props to France Television, because they've been doing a lot of Eurovision stuff recently. And the fact that Fulen won, we're getting a song that's not in French from France in full, which I don't think has ever happened. And the fact that, we've got such a good top three, I really hope so. I'll come back next year with a better song, if they'll allow them to, because you never know with France Television.
It's also very interesting just to note, just before we go on, this is actually the first year in the history of the contest that there has not been any French in any of the songs. It's like, what is this? There's a glitch in the system.
So we're going to stick with the big five, and we are going to go over to Germany, where we had Germany 12 points. This was won by Malik Harris with the song Rockstars. And it was another pretty small national final, but we do have 3 other songs who have been voted your favourites in this year's TES National Final Awards. Interestingly, we've got a little bit of a runaway winner on this one, but I'll leave you with that and start with our third place. Our third place got 13.9% of the vote, and it's Mael and Jonas with I Swear to God. In second place, with 15.8% of the vote, we have poor Emily Roberts with Soap. We'll be coming back to that one a little bit later. And in first place, like I say, a little bit of a runaway winner with 65.3%. It's Anxiety by Felicia Liu. How does this match up with your favourites from Germany 12 points?
Does not surprise me, because she was the fan favorite going into this. And obviously, if you want someone to win, don't predict them at ESC prediction. And it turns out that that was the case for Germany, because Malik Harris won. But all I'll say is I'm happy that this got its redemption, because I really love it. Malik is a great guy, great performer. Have no negative thing to say, because he's such an awesome performer. But this was the key for me. But Malik is also great.
Again, this is another one I didn't watch, but I also just want to shout out arguably probably the most memorable moment of the national final, which was Jamawa's heartbreaking rendition of 1944 holding the Ukrainian flag. I think this was one of the first shows to take place following the invasion. It really was just such a moment, and hoping good things for the future is all I'll say on that.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, things can kind of calm down a little bit more, and just it's so shit, obviously, when stuff like that happens, isn't it? But Jamal is such a tour de force, and I think I saw recently she is the fourth most benevolent person for the Ukrainian war effort at the minute. She's raised them like about $91 million or so single-handedly as well. So this is like crazy. Anyway, back to Germany. And the first thing I have to say is I have a soap. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was I can't like I have that moment genuinely saved into my bookmarks now, and it's just like, whoa, try not to flinch. Wow, like I can't watch it without laughing. It's so funny. But yeah, honestly, I mean, this was the runaway winner for me. I love Anxiety. Felicia Liu was it sounded amazing in the studio version. I'm glad that they kind of sort of upped it a little bit more in the national final with a little bit more of those Eurovision moments that Felicia said she was going to do. It's just a shame that they just didn't want to give her the title, which is very annoying because, again, who doesn't love, to quote Cyprus Junior Eurovision 2017, who doesn't love a little song about anxiety? So, it's a great time. So fingers crossed Felicia Liu can come back again and take the crown.
Fantastic. Now we are going to the north, and we are going to Iceland. Söngvakeppnin returned this year after a little bit of a break to let Daði Freyr and Gagna Magnid take to the Eurovision stage once again, or they were going to before COVID. Anyway, we came back with 10 more acts this year, and we got Siga, Beta and Ellen, otherwise now known as Sister, with Medhai Kandi Sol, who are going to represent them in Turin. Who came out on top in your votes for the songs that didn't necessarily make it to Italy this year? In third place, we have Marketa Irglova with Merlget / Possible with 9.5% of the vote. In second place is Katla with Thadanath / Then Again, and she got 24.8% of the vote. And we have the absolute icons that are Reykjavik Dætur with 41.9% of the vote, with Turkum af Staff / Turn This Around. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit surprised about this, to be fair. I would have thought that Katla would have been a bit of a runaway winner here because that national final performance in Söngvakeppnin was absolutely phenomenal. And obviously she was going to perform in English, but then obviously when she saw the reaction and everything in the semi-finals to Thadanath, then of course she was going to keep it in Icelandic. So yeah, I mean, I like turn this around. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic. It was giving me Portugal 2011, but better, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I liked it. Söngvakeppnin for me was a bit sort of bland, to be perfectly honest with you, but that's only because my favorite was Volcano by Haffy Half. But we kind of can't really stan him now because there was the staging was a little bit problematic. So maybe not.
I'm not surprised in the least to see Daughters of Reykjavik running away with the vote. They made the super final. I think like everyone, a bit shocked that they didn't win it all. Although to be fair, I really, really enjoyed Sister and their reactions when they found out that they won. I don't think anyone in the room was expecting it. It was just a wonderful, wonderful surprise. Again, Katla was absolutely amazing. Would have loved it if she had made the super final. As I say, I did only watch the final for Söngvakeppnin, but even if maybe the songs weren't the best batch that they have been in years past, I think it was such a fun show to watch anyways. I love that they were able to move into a bigger venue this year. They had Tusa there instead of being at his own national final on the same night. But I don't know, it was a great time to watch, and yeah, not surprised at all by the results of this vote.
For me, not the slightest bit of shock. This is very obvious from the outset, and I would not be surprised that if, second chance take place shortly, Iceland would select them, because that performance was just mesmerizing, and I would want to see them at Eurovision at some point because it was just that spectacular for me.
This is another one I absolutely have to blame Isabel for getting me into, because I didn't pay a huge amount of attention to Sångbuketen this year. I sort of listened to the songs, but I didn't watch any of the shows, and I was kind of overwhelmed with dealing with every other show that was going on at the time. But yeah, Isabel has once again absolutely gotten me into Turn This Around, and particularly the lyrics, which I just have to repeat again. Boom, baby, I'm the universe. If Karl Marx were alive, he'd be my boyfriend eating rich men for breakfast. Icon shit, quite frankly. I need that in my life. And thank
Revolution
you, Reykjavik Gudaitar, for bringing this to my life. So all we've got to do now is change one letter in the alphabet and go from Iceland to Ireland. Ireland returned with the Late Late Show / Eurosong, whatever you want to call it, this year. And we had 6 songs competing. Brooke ended up winning with That's Rich. So which 3 other songs did you choose as your favourites from the Late Late Show / Eurosong / whatever you want to call it? In third place, we have Janet Grogan with Ashes of Yesterday, which got 19.6%. In second place, with 21.7% of the vote, is Patrick O'Sullivan with One Night, One Kiss, One Promise. And with 41.3% of the vote, our winner is I'm Loving Me by Rachel Good. Are you loving these results?
Yes. I'm Loving Me is such a bop. I think it's one of those ones where it's got its own niche. That's why it didn't do well in the competition. So it got second to last. But your fan is still loving the song. It's still on their playlists, including mine. So, if it gets put on in a club, I would dance along to it. So well done. And, Brooke deserved it. She was the obvious winner from the offset of it.
Yeah, okay, so, as the Irish one on here, I guess I have a little bit more, not more, I don't know. Yeah, this just seems like I'm Loving Me was basically just a little bit of a Lumix B-side, let's be honest here, but yeah, I'm not entirely too happy with that result, but that's only just because I'm not a big fan of Schlager, and it just seemed as if it was a very much like, Europe is in the mood for Schlager, and so therefore we have to sort of bring that, and that's why we have Halo, and now we have this winning the TES award for that. Otherwise, really happy to see Ashes of Yesterday getting some recognition, because that was also a really, really nice song. But yeah, they all really paled in comparison to Brooke, so it was really just like there was no other winner really. So I'm just happy with that. We got the winner we deserved.
I wasn't able to watch Eurosong, but I did get to interview Rachel and learn a little bit more about her. All I'll say is that I think she's really great. She's very talented. I want her to come back with a song that more fits her style. She's done a lot of folky operatic things, and it was a little bit disappointing to see her come forward with this type of song that, knowing now what she's capable of, I think is a bit beneath her. But as I say, I'm happy that she personally did well in this vote, but I do want to see her back with a better song.
Fantastic. So with that, we are moving on to Israel. Israel had the X Factor Israel come back again this year, and we had a bit of an interesting format with this one, where we had 4 performers, and each of those performers did 2 songs each, and then they chose 1 song for each performer, and then ultimately they chose Michael Ben David with I Am to represent them at Eurovision. We had all 8 of the possible songs, aside from I Am, available for voting. So with that, which ones did you choose as your favourites? In third place, we have Inbal Bibi with Zaza, which got 19.3%. In second place is Eli Huli with Blinded Dreamers, which got 25.3%. And again, another pretty close one between second and first place. We had our winner with 26.5% of the vote as Marionette, again by Inbal Bibi. What do you think about these results?
I am so happy that both of Inbal Bibi's songs are in the top 3, but I would have swapped it around. I prefer Zaza over Marionette. And the fact that this was Zaza was the one that was eliminated kind of like saddens me a bit. But she got to the final Marionette, so I'll give her that. And she would have been my preference to go to Eurovision. So glad she got a redemption.
Yeah, I didn't really watch the show, but I did listen to the songs. So I would also have preferred it if Zaza was the winner, but that wasn't my favorite of all of the songs that were in the selection. My favorite was Head Up, I think, by Sapir, sorry. That was the more interesting one, I thought. But yeah, no real feelings to it. I mean, yeah, it would, to be honest, I just think any other song in that selection would have been better than I Am. But you know what? We move. So
we love a good anthem that's from Drag Race, but not from Drag Race.
So after Israel, we move on to Italy. And we once again had Festival di Sanremo selecting our entry, or kind of selecting our entry because Sanremo is not a national final. But the winners, Mahmoud and Blanco, will be taking to the stage in Turin, and they will be representing our host country this year. Having said that, which of the other songs did you choose as your winner in the TES Awards? In third place, somebody who has already kind of gotten their redemption. It's Achille Lauro with Domenica, which got 9.2%. In second place, with 11%, is Elisa with O Fosse Se Tu. And in first place, with 41.3% of the vote, is Ciao Ciao by La Rappresentante da Lista. Are you saying ciao ciao or ciao ciao to these results?
Yeah, so basically, I'm very happy with Ciao Ciao winning. It is an absolute banger. And it's gotten to the point where I've indoctrinated my friends into it as well. So they're a bit like, they literally, when I tell you, right, this is a little bit of a quick tangent, but they went on holiday to Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands, and they were walking past and they heard Ciao Ciao. And so they had to genuinely stop and film it so they could send it to me, be like, oh my God, Rory, they're playing Ciao Ciao here. And it's like, oh my God. So honestly, I mean, it shows that it had an international quality to it. Also really, really happy to see Achille Lauro Domenica there, because Domenica, personally for me, I think is the better of the two Achille Lauro songs this season. So it's good to see that there is some recognition there. Very sad that there isn't anything to do with Kimika in there. Kimika deserved so much more. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not too fussed about Brividi this year, but I mean, it's a very it's a very tight race, and Festival di Sanremo is just so packed with quality that no matter what won, it would be a fantastic representative of Italian culture. So it's all worth it in the end.
And again, you can see that reflected in the votes where almost every song got at least one vote from Sanremo. So yeah, Ciao Ciao again, kind of runaway winners, but almost every song got at least something from someone. And it just again goes to show how much variety and how much quality there is in that national final. I've already had my little thing about Ciao Ciao in the previous episode where we talked about our national final moments and favorites. I fucking love it. I cannot stop listening to it. I think it's amazing, and I'm so happy to see it do so well here. But again, what a great selection, what a great set of songs, and there were so many that could have come out on top here that I would be very, very happy with.
I just have to say, where is the love for Gianni Morandi? It was the most delightful performance, and I'm so thrilled he made the top 3 in the national final. Everyone's favorite Italian grandfather, just incredible. I just love the mood, and I'm happy Brividi won, but I would have been just as okay with Gianni going. I also have to give a shout out to Emma for coming back. I think she had been a bit unfairly maligned after Eurovision 2014, but she came back and gave such a great performance, as well with Francesca. as the conductor, just being very into it. We love two powerful women supporting each other. God, it was a very long final, but I enjoyed it very, very much.
I'm not surprised that Chow Chow won, just because of the fact that my Twitter feed after Sanremo has just been Chow Chow left, right, and center. And I'm like, there are other songs. There were 20 plus songs on here, like 25. It's a Eurovision final as it is. Like, but you know, Eurofans, we get what we want. So not surprised.
And now we will move on to Latvia. Latvia ended up bringing us the absolutely iconic Citizeni with Eat Your Salad.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it. I'm promising not to say it yet. Anyway, who came out on top in your votes? In third place with 8.9% is Raum with their song Plans. In second place is Inspo with A Happy Place with 10.9%. And again, another one that kind of came out quite far above the rest. In first place is I'm Letting You Go by Aminata with 37.6% of the vote. Are we letting this result go, or are we sticking with this?
We're sticking with this. I'm so happy that Aminata got her redemption. You know, look, I was anti-Citizeni. Like, I'm going to be upfront about that. I thought it was just a joke. But then the more we got onto the pre-party seasons, I got to talk to them. We got to know them a bit more. I got converted. So I can see why Latvia is very unique in its own right. And as we said on our episode last year, before even Supernova got announced, just take a chance. And they did, you know. Hopefully it's going in the right direction if they go to the final. But yay for Aminata, because still loving her after all these years.
I paid almost no attention to Supernova, so I have nothing to say on this one. So does anyone else have anything to say about this, or shall we just move to Lithuania?
I mean, I have one little shout out. Well, two really. Yeah, I mean, I'm Aminata, fantastic, whatever. But two shout outs. One to Coconuts, because that was a fantastic jazz standard, and I really wish that they had come back and do something similar. The other one didn't even make it into the semi-finals because it lost out in the online vote. But Katrina Demanta, My Voice, it's the one song from the Latvian national selection that I continuously go back to. Not you like I listen to this even way more than like Citizeni or anything like that. If you think of Carousel, but just a little bit more upbeat and maybe not as depressing, it's a bit like that. So like I would really recommend you check it out, because you know, she was in Arzamnieki and then she's come off to do Heartbeats in 2020. She came second to Samantha Tina. And now she's like, you know, she's made a career for herself now. And like, it's just such a beautiful song. So Katrina, please come back at some point, because it is an amazing, amazing song.
And with that, we will go to their neighbours in Lithuania. Lithuania have put forward Monica Liu with Sentimentai this year as their Eurovision entrant. But who have been your winners in Pabandom Ishnoyo in the TES Awards? In third place, we have Gabrasi with Into Your Arms with 12.5%. In second place with 17.3% is Ruta Loop with Call Me From the Cold. And in first place, again, quite a close set of voting on this one. 21.2% is Not Your Mother by Lolita Zero.
I mean, I'm not surprised in the least that Lolita Zero won this one. It was mesmerizing to watch that performance. But I also want to shout out Queens of Roses and Washing Machine. That was just such a fun performance to watch. And my queen, Eva Zasamaskaite, I very nearly walked down the aisle at my wedding to When We're Old. So she's a favorite in my heart. And I'm sad that she made the final, but didn't do very well in it. But just an enigmatic performer, and I love her so much. But
yeah, I didn't really have too much of a stake in Pabandom Ishnoyo this year, so I don't really have too much to say. But I do have to give a little shout out to The Devil Lives in Spain. That I loved Cosmic Bride last year, and she was cruelly robbed then. She's cruelly robbed now. I don't know. Lithuania just doesn't have taste, it seems, and maybe it needs to take a COVID test.
For me, I'm not surprised that Lolita won the whole thing. So, yay on that, because it's something unique in its own right. And I bet you the locals would just go like, what on earth had it actually won? But on the other hand, Jabrasi, I think it's his better song. And it was a bit underwhelming that it got a bit lower than it did on the show. But, still yaying because it got some sort of recognition at least.
I was very much Team Monica Liu when it came to Papanda Mishnayo this year, so incredibly happy that she won. But it was a great national final, particularly once you got to that final round. That selection of songs was really good. I feel like these three were probably the three I would have expected to be the top three in a fan vote. I wouldn't necessarily have thought they would go in this order, but I like all of them, so I can't really complain. And Not Your Mother was just so unlike anything else we had this national final season. It was trippy and trancy and just so completely out there. And there was something really mesmerizing about it. So thank you, Lolita Zero, for bringing this into our lives, because I wouldn't have ever heard anything like that anywhere else, I don't think. We now move on to Malta. We saw the return of MESC this year, and again, this is one with a little bit of a runaway winner. Emma Muscat won with Out of Sight and then promptly changed her song to I Am What I Am. But who came in your top three? In third place with 6.2% is Matt Bloksk with Come Around. In second place with 11.3% is Nicole Azzopardi with Into the Fire. And in first place with 63.9% of the vote is Ritmu by Aiden. Are we yee-hawing at this result?
Of course. I mean, come on. Very cowboy effect in Maltese. Like, and the fact that we've had the opportunity to talk to Aiden twice and just have him, give Europe a chance to, just show his flavor of cowboy. Very amazing. And you know what? I really wish he comes back soon, just because he said so himself. He wants to see Maltese back at Eurovision, and I think he'll be the person that will do it justice personally.
Yeah. I mean, my one, I was kind of, Ritmu was very clearly the better of the two songs that were running off in the national selection. So very happy to see that Ritmu has done really, really well. Also, the other song that I kind of really liked that kind of has been completely overlooked is Aphrodisiac by, I can't remember what her second, Jessica Gretsch, I think is her name. I really did like that song too. I mean, the staging was absolutely horrendous, but the music was pretty nice. I liked it. But yeah, there's definitely some lessons that Malta needs to learn from this, and maybe just not have one of your songs just open with basically a maniac screaming into your mouth. I'm not calling anyone out, sorry, Matt Black, but yeah.
In all honesty, Ritmu is the only song I remember from MESC, so I'm not surprised at all. I like Ritmu, I think it's great, and I've really enjoyed hearing Aiden at the pre-parties. He was fantastic at London, absolute delight to talk to when I got to interview him. And I'm so pleased that there is someone so passionate about bringing Maltese back to Eurovision, because I think it will be a great addition. And I hope that it's only a matter of time before Aiden comes back and steps foot on the Eurovision stage. And with that, we are going to wrap up the first half of this with North Macedonia. North Macedonia has sent Andrea with Circles to Eurovision this year. So who came in your top 3. In third place with 17.6% is Jon Edie with Dreams. In second place with 29.7% is Victor Apostolovsky with Superman. And in first place with 42.9% of the vote is Flower of Sorrow by Lara Ivanova. Are you feeling flowers of sorrow or flowers of happiness at these?
That was a bit of a shock, to be honest, because I was fully expecting Superman to just completely storm it, because why? Yeah, you can do things that every other man can do, but yeah, just because you go, that's enough. For those of you who haven't seen what I've just done, I was just gesturing, so it's fine. Yeah, I'm kind of also a little bit shocked that Flower of Sorrow did so well as well. My personal favorite in this was not Kaya, Light and Love. Anyway, one of those ones. So it was kind of an interesting sort of show. But yeah, I'm not too fussed on either of these, to be honest.
I'm in parallels with Rory on this one. I would have thought it would have been Superman taking the trophy, taking the win with this one. So when you told me that you got second place, I have a webcam on, but like my jaw dropped because I thought it was gonna be the one that's like gonna run away. But yeah, I am sorry a bit, but props to Lara because her song isn't that bad. But I will say though that the whole national final, it's been a bit of a hit and miss, as your fans say. But look, just wait till you see a live performance in Turin. That's all I'm gonna say, because Andrea elevates a song live. You can't just judge the studio version. You need the whole thing. And I think this is what it does.
And this brings us to the end of the first half of the results for That Eurovision site's 2022 National Final Awards. I would like to thank Tim, Rory, and Helen for joining me on the first part of this adventure. And we'll be back very soon with the results of the rest of the national finals, as well as our special awards. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us over on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at That Euro site. We now have a TikTok account, everyone. So get ready for some ticking and some talking. I'm old, okay? I don't get these things.
Albina would be so proud.
She would, as would Maria. So yeah, we're going to be doing some interesting things over there, and expect hopefully some fun stuff to come on there from Turin as well. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as our YouTube. And also don't forget to check us out at our website, thateurovisionsite.com, for all of your exciting Eurovision 2022 news as everything steps up and we head into the 2 weeks of the competition. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.